Bethany, there's still one available here if you. Yeah.
So, first of all, what's that? Go ahead.
There's a Lambda school and Empower.
Lambda school?
Let's see.
You'll have to go here.
I was trying to lift it.
No, it's not Lambda anything. Let me take a look.
Thank you.
Could you help her?
No, I'm on to the other one as well, but I'm also on this one as well. See, I'm here in Power and then also. I can log out of it.
There is.
Is there another school or something?
No, I mean there should be.
I mean, I'm here. But I'm just saying I was also in the other one.
I don't know what that is. If you download.
So, right now we're simulcasting to Richmond, and some of the class we're going to be doing it like this. Obviously, for in effort to make it stick as much as possible, we're going to try to do as much in classroom, but we have 5 different instructors. So like I said, if you don't like the way I present things, or if somebody else presents it in a way that sticks better with you, you don't have to be stuck just on the way I do it. David's going to take over tomorrow. Harper this afternoon, so you're going to get a chance to meet the other Sightsource partner. And he's going to be covering, I think somebody during the introduction said they really were curious, I think it was Jamila, about how the internet works. Well, he's going to explain it to you in about an hour. And he's going to show it to you start to finish. This is what DNS is, IP, all that stuff, ports. But this morning, let's start out with my bit of simulcast, and that's going to be, let's talk about the Windows tools. So you all know Windows. You probably think you know all about how Windows works. You can sign in. I guarantee I'm going to show you at least a couple things that you didn't know existed. And the reason I'm going to go through this is because as a developer, especially in our company, we just kind of expect people to know this stuff. It's like you were born with it, and that's not the case. It's stuff we picked over with 20 years of experience, so it's important that we show it to you, at least cursory. Once again, I don't want to impress upon you have to memorize everything, but let's get down to it. So let me go. First of all, just to make sure everybody's, while we're doing this, I'm going to try to make sure that everybody's installed everything from the installation list. And for those of you who have loaner laptops, everything's already installed. You just need to make sure, so you have it a lot easier. You just need to make sure you've created your necessary accounts with AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and with GitHub. And Harper's going to walk you through that if you need some help with that. Please sign into Slack now if you have not already. And I want to make sure, first of all, that everybody has access to Slack and they know how to ask questions. They know how to use the app. So if you all can see my screen here, this is my view. And the way Slack works is we're in the Empower organization. Announcements, you just click on here. It's called a channel. And you can actually, everybody has ability to post information here, and everybody else in that channel sees it. Now, that's up here under channels. Now, you may not know that, for instance, Kelly's sitting right over here, but as a test, I'm going to click on her name. And can anybody else see that? The answer is no, because that's a private message between she and I. So we can have a little private side conversation if you just click on their name. So if you have a question for somebody else in the class, and we're all together here, we've tried to indicate who's who over here on the left. So Bound Dashboard WS/organizer and so on. So if you have WS next to your name, great. If not, it doesn't matter. But I wanted to point out that announcements, Empower Public, private, that's for the docents and ourselves, and questions. So right now, both in Winston-Salem and in Richmond, just to make sure that you are logged in to the correct Slack Empower account, click on questions and just say hello. Hi, I'm whomever. And I just want to see 40-some messages pop in here. There we go. And if you have any trouble, now is when the docents kick into action, and they're going to come help you.
Oh, I'm supposed to be in public?
Yep. So questions or public, wherever. Just to make sure, and if you're not able to do that, we'll have somebody come help you set up your Slack account. This is important because while somebody's doing simulcast right here, what we've talked about doing is rather than somebody raise their hand and ask a question only within the physical classroom, please post your questions while even the instructor is giving some chat in here. And it's the onus on the instructor to check here prior to completing and answering those questions. And if he or she forgets, then it'll be up to the instructor or one of the docents to come back later and answer those questions. So your questions will be answered. Just put it in writing here. So, without any further ado, let me go back to announcements, and I need to find the link to course content. And it's day 1. And local installation. So, first of all, you should all have computers. If not, you wouldn't have been able to do the Slack thing, so I guess we're good there. Create an AWS account. Anybody who has not created an Amazon Web Services account, let me log into the one here just to show you. aws.amazon.com. And let's see. My account. Somebody was concerned about it being 10:15. So, AWS Management Console. If you've signed in on the computer you're using right now, it'll probably remember your username, and it'll say, "What's your password?" Go ahead and type that in, and it brings you to the console. So when they first started, they had maybe 6, 7, 8 services, and now you click up here into services, and they've got dozens. So, and that's a good thing. It doesn't, I couldn't tell you what a third of these things do. I just know the ones that are of immense value and the ones that we use most frequently. So we're going to cover some of the services later on, maybe even later on today, but that's not what I'm here for. So I just want to make sure that you all have the account. If you don't have an AWS account set up, make note of it, and we'll come help you at the break, because you do need to have these up and running. So AWS, and you have cloud.google.com. This is more just validation. As I'm going through this, I want you to go through and verify that your account logs in, and you're good. Google is very good about remembering your username, so if you click on console, if you've signed in before, once again on this laptop, it should show you your dashboard. Now, you don't have anything running unless somebody's hacked your account and they've spun up like 20 instances and you're paying $1,000 a month. You probably don't have anything running, which is another reason to have a very strong password on these accounts, because that username and password is the only thing that will prevent people from logging into your cloud account and using resources. Now, I haven't heard of that happening very often. They're very careful about, okay, you signed on new from a new computer. But if you have a very simple password like password1 or the name of your kid's birthday or whatever, one of those typical bad passwords, change it. Because there are hackers that want to use your computer resources. So secure your accounts if you haven't already. So we got AWS, Google Cloud, and let's go to Azure. And Azure, I always forget was it portal.microsoft.com or something? Portal.azure.com. And Microsoft is typically bad about remembering your username. And what do you know? So I'll have to go figure that one out. And I don't want to show you my password now. So let's go. I just want to make sure that you've seen the instructions, you log in, and you're able to get to your dashboard. We're not going to do anything with the accounts at this moment, but you need to be able to do them. Like as soon as this afternoon, we may use the AWS account. So once again, at the break, if you haven't done that, we will come help you do that. Creating a GitHub account. I believe most of you have not only created a GitHub account, but you've also sent those usernames over to Harper. If you have not, and back to Balance earlier request about tell me your name so that I can record that we gave you a loaner laptop, all you'd have to do is click on Balance name over here and private Slack message him, and he has it.
If you have already sent me directly your GitHub username, I forwarded it to Harper, but just make sure that you send it to him if you have not.
Okay.
So if we have a loaner, we're sending a direct message to
Me.
you.
Ballant. Yep.
Just your name and just a description of the laptop.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we get to take the loaner laptops home?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, you can. I think they're going to be locking the door, but you probably would want to practice stuff and do.
Okay.
If you want to do extra work, then yeah, you should take it home.
Okay.
Okay. So anybody who has not created a GitHub account, you're going to need to create one. Harper's going to walk you through that this afternoon. And this is actually not my Empower GitHub, but it is really just github.com. Over the weekend, it was announced. Yeah, it's not going to help me there. It's github.com, and it actually knows who I am. There we go. Yeah, Microsoft has actually announced over the weekend, or there was speculation. I don't know if they've actually come out and announced
They
it.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft is.
It's on the bond.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, they bought it 7.5 billion, I think.
Yeah.
I hope they don't start charging us for it.
By the way, yeah, this, Microsoft's acquisition of GitHub changes nothing to me. It's still the same utility it did before. Now, if they start hurting the service like they did with Skype or with some of the other services, then I'll consider options. GitHub is not the only place to host Git source code in the cloud. There's Bitbucket, there are others.
They learned their lesson. They didn't mess with LinkedIn.
Yeah, we'll see. You can never trust Microsoft. So what I'm doing here is, because we have a very secure GitHub account and we have client source code and we do some very secure projects, I have two-factor authentication enabled on my GitHub account. And if you don't do that and you do online banking or something like that, I strongly encourage you to do so. What that means is that it's not only username and password, but it will also text you or email you with a special code, one-time use, like this one, and it will require you to enter it before you can actually gain access to your account. So it's, especially for bank accounts, these days, once you learn how to be a developer, you realize how easy it is to write bad code, and you're going to get a little bit scared about being more secure yourself, hopefully. So once you log into your GitHub account, there's an Empower course. So you're going to have your own context over here in the top left. And Harper's going to walk you through GitHub, so don't worry about this. I just want to make sure that you have an account. So that's going to be this afternoon. So if you haven't done that, that was part of the installation instructions. I believe that was down here. Okay, so if this is the first time you've seen this page, you weren't paying attention to the Slack channel, so this is something you need to do tonight because you're going to be a little bit late and you need to come with this stuff already set up. So this is really just validation. You should have already done all this stuff, and here are the instructions, step-by-step screenshots. So, you know, if you haven't set up your Azure account, you click on that, and you'll open a new window, and it's a PDF with screenshots. This is how you do it, highlighting what you should click on. So go ahead and do that this evening or at the break. These are the other things that we've requested that you install. Now, all of this is setup work. This is one-time stuff. So I know it's been tremendously tedious to go through this, but you realize why developers don't like to switch their laptop or development machines very often, because developers need a lot of tools to be able to actually be productive. So this is all one-time setup stuff. The good news is you do it once, and hopefully you'll have 2 or 3 years before you have to do it again. You'll have forgotten how to do it all again. You have to go figure out how to do it, and you can tell yourself that I really wanted to upgrade my tools anyway, and justify it that way. So here's step-by-step, and the order does matter, unfortunately. So if you skip a step, for instance, if you try to install MySQL without installing Python 2.7, it will complain. So, and I believe it was Ballant this morning told me that not only is it Python 2.7, but it has to be the 32-bit version, even if you have a 64-bit computer. So, sorry about that. I didn't even realize that myself. If you have any problems with the installations or you got stuck, I know it was somebody in the Richmond class posted a couple questions. That's exactly what the Slack channel is for. So let's get into some.
I have a loaner laptop and I can see some of the, like Ruby, I didn't see that installed on my laptop, so I just went ahead and installed it.
Shouldn't hurt.
Somewhere hiding or,
Shouldn't hurt. If it's gone horribly wrong, we'll know it soon enough.
okay.
But we're not going to even touch Ruby for 3 or 4 weeks, so we got plenty of time. We're doing all of the hard, tedious stuff on the first day while we're getting to know each other. So like I said, today is kind of a different day. The rest is going to be more hands-on practice. But let's start talking about some technology. So Windows Explorer. One of the things, and the reason I'm going through this is because developers, these are cardinal sins to make a mistake between Windows Explorer and Internet Explorer, two completely different things. Windows Explorer is how you look at your disk. So Windows E, bang, right there. Windows E, you see your local hard drives. Okay? So what I want you to do is go ahead and open Windows Explorer. Now you can Windows E, the Windows key E as a shortcut, or you can right-click and choose File Explorer. Gets there the same way. Or once you have it open, if you're in Windows 7, 8, 10, they skip 9, gotta love marketing departments, right-click on it and say Pin. And that means keep it there. So even if you close it, like I'm going to close it now, it'll stay there. You see, it just doesn't have the line underneath it to say it's open. So I'm going to open it back up, and you'll see the line come back. Now, the reason it's important for you to get this down is because this is how you navigate your disk. So your hard disk, now go ahead and create me a directory under C, Projects, and Empower. You can right-click on the white space over on the right-hand side.
I'm sorry.
New folder. Empower. So open Windows Explorer. It's either Windows E or right-click on the Start button and choose File Explorer. And as they have problems, the docents will come around and help you. And if you have any questions later on, if it's something that you're going to get behind on, raise your hand and a docent will come over and help you.
Are we opening a file explorer?
We're going to create a directory. So C Projects, Empower.
You said in C create a folder for projects.
Oh, local C.
Is this one of the owners?
Yeah.
Okay, so you already have to create.
In that C projects and what?
Empower.
You can just name it Empower.
So for those of you in Richmond, we've got a lot of people learning what Windows Explorer is and creating directories. So it'll settle down in about a minute.
Yeah, but I wanted to find out how he did it. He said you can also right-click and do it.
You can right-click. Here's the shortcut. The Windows E for Explorer.
Okay. Oh.
Or you can right-click and choose File Explorer.
Oh, there it is.
Emergency alert.
Right click where?
On the Start button.
On the start button. Start button.
Okay.
File
I
Explorer.
have never even done that.
And then we're going to the C drive. Are we?
Where is that noise coming from?
This is there's an emergency.
Oh, okay.
Emergency alert.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it's not the building.
Amber, what is it? Amber.
Amber alert.
It's somebody who's gone missing and been abducted.
Child is missing.
How about this one right
Okay.
That one?
Let me pause the feed just a minute.